Underdog Fantasy NFL DFS picks for 49ers versus Seahawks include Brock Purdy. FlurrySports gives the best Underdog Fantasy NFL DFS picks for the 49ers versus Seahawks NFL Playoffs Divisional Round game, including Brock Purdy. The second game of the NFL Divisional Round doubleheader will continue with a divisional matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks come into this game as 7-point favorites and will look to take down a pesky 49ers team that shut down the defending Super Bowl champs last week. Now that Seattle has had a week off, are they ready to finish off their divisional rival for once and for all? The dynamics in this game are quite interesting, making a fun one for NFL DFS picks. Underdog Fantasy has several ways to make money on fantasy football and prediction markets for the NFL playoffs. Not only can you pick the winner or point total with new prediction picks, but you can continue to draft teams against other people or play pick-em, selecting higher or lower for multiple player stats. We will talk about the latter today, giving you 3 great Underdog Fantasy NFL DFS picks to play for the 49ers versus Seahawks playoff matchup. Use the Underdog Fantasy promo code Flurry when signing up to get a $1,000 deposit match. Then play $5 on these NFL DFS picks to get an additional $75 in bonus entries. Note, you must enter the code Flurry when creating your account to get this offer. Underdog Fantasy NFL DFS picks. Bills versus Broncos NFL playoff Zach Charbonnet higher 46.5 rushing yards. It was no secret that when the Seahawks built their coaching staff and included both Mike Macdonald and Clint Kubiak, the offense was going to be centered around a strong rushing attack. Using one of the better running duos in the NFL this season, in Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet, that idea of a strong run game has never been truer. While Walker has played more between the 20s role and has been put into better positions to pick up yards, I am taking higher on Charbonnet's rushing yards in this game. As the games have gotten to be more must-win, Charbonnet has been much more involved in running the ball, as he has carried the ball 35 times over the past 2 games. He has totaled 184 rushing yards in those games, going higher than 46.5 rushing yards in both. What makes this entry more enticing is that one of those 2 games came against the 49ers just 2 weeks ago. Looking at the beginning of the season, when these teams met in Week 1, Charbonnet went higher in that matchup, too. Jake Tonges higher 6.75 fantasy points. With George Kittle tearing his Achilles tendon last week, San Francisco is going to be down their second strongest weapon on the offensive side of the ball. Not having Kittle will put a huge hole in an offense that is so reliant on both his pass-catching and run-blocking abilities. In steps backup tight end Jake Tonges, who we saw earlier this year as Kittle was dealing with a different injury. In replacement of Kittle earlier this season, Tonges performed well, totaling 29 receptions for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns in 6 games. When you stretch those numbers to a per-game basis, Tonges is averaging just short of 45 receiving yards on just short of 5 receptions per game. That means that his averages without Kittle playing and without factoring in touchdowns put him higher than the 6.75 fantasy points prop on any given game. Now, taking into consideration the matchup against Seattle, you feel more confident. Seattle's defense is one of the best units in the NFL. They will be able to get pressure on Brock Purdy all game, meaning Purdy will have to play safe and take underneath routes and easy throws, which plays perfectly into Tonges' hands. Brock Purdy higher 19.5 rushing yards. The Seattle Seahawks have been awesome at stopping the run this season. They finished the regular season 3rd in rushing yards given up per game at 91.6. Given Seattle's acumen on the defensive side of the ball, I am expecting Christian McCaffrey to have somewhat of a struggle in this game running the ball. In 2 games between the teams this season, McCaffrey has totaled just 92 rushing yards without finding his way into the end zone. In order for San Francisco to win this game, they have to use some sort of rushing attack, and if McCaffrey is not going to be the guy to do it, my next option is Purdy. As I stated before, when talking about the Tonges NFL DFS pick, Seattle's defense will be giving Purdy pressure all game long. The Seattle defense is big, fast, and mean, which will make Purdy have to get out of the pocket and use his legs more often than desired. That has been the case for the most part, as San Francisco made the push to the playoffs. Purdy has rushed for more than 19.5 rushing yards in each of his last 3 starts and 4 out of his last 5. Purdy is the driving force behind the 49ers' offense in this game, and his legs will be a part of that.